All righty, traders. This is Blake Morrow. You are listening to the Morning Edge webinar. I hope everybody's having a great trading session and happy Monday to you. It's been kind of a slow start to the week. What's interesting is, I know I've said this quite a bit, but the dollar is actually holding up really well despite where stocks are at, and that's something that we have to take note of. One of the things that looking at this morning is just the dollar Canadian, kind of firm back up towards that 126 level. And the reason why this is important is because we're holding up on this channel, which I'm going to mark just a couple of levels actually right now for the bias chart, might as well. So you can see this low right here at 125.25. That's obviously key support. No if and or buts about it. 125.25. That's key. But what also is key, and by the way, I have to designate this as a bullish chart still. Remember, we are below the 200-day moving average, but this move higher in the dollar Canadian, I still think has a lot of bullish momentum at the moment. But notice what's capping us right now at the 200-day moving average, which comes in around 126.10. So if you're sitting here going, well, 126 is really key resistance, Blake, just let's mark up 126.10 this morning. Because that is the 200-day moving average, right? Okay, so we're gonna mark that up as bullish for now. Let's go into the euro. So the euro, again, we're in this wedge. I would love to buy it for a little squeeze. I'm willing to give it a long shot if we can get above this 120 or 118.30 level. Excuse me. So we're gonna write that down. 118.30. Support obviously whoops. Sorry, the microphone's right in my face. Excuse me, guys. 1 second. 117. Whoops, damn it. 117.50 is support. We have to keep it on bearish until we break higher. I mean, we just have to. We get above 118.30, and then I'm gonna have to change my tune here, but 117.50 is obviously really key support. Sterling. So key resistance continues to hold. That's at 138. Now let's imagine we break above it, because I think it's entirely possible we break above 138. But let me do something really quick. Let's get rid of this. Let's get rid of some of these drawings while we're here. Let's get rid of this wedge. Don't need that. Don't need that. We might need that in the very near future. We might need this as well, but I'm going to remove that for just a minute. And this too. Now, let's take this high. Okay. See, my 2 cents is if we get above this 138 level, we might be able to squeeze higher. Maybe even up to this 88% retracement. Hold on really quick. Let me just do one thing. Yeah, I'm going to leave it like that. But this is 138 is going to be key. And above that, we could make it to 138.40. So 138.40. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, on Friday we took this off of range, right? I'm pretty sure. Let's go back and take a look. Or I'm sorry, took it off bearish. We did go back in a range. That's what I meant to say. So we are back in range. And I think we need to keep it like that. Support 137.20. Aussie dollar resistance. I still think 74 cents is key resistance. And if you look at this, just hold on. I'm just thinking of a B, C, D type of move. Okay. 74 cents is still resistance. Support 72.90. That's key. And we are still in a bearish trend. Kiwi. Now, a break above this 70 cents will allow for a squeeze. It will. Remember, we have a false breakdown. These are you guys remember the interview with, by the way, let me ask you this really quick, since I've got you guys here. I care more about your opinion than the just random, opinions of the internet and people that follow me on Twitter. Obviously, I care about the ForexAnalytix family, Forex Flow family more than anybody else. But I want to get your opinion. What did you guys think of the Brent Donnelly interview? And is there something that I should have asked that I didn't? Just some of your thoughts, if you want to type that out in the chat box, just because after I close down this webinar, I won't be able to read those comments again. It just, I'll just read them really quick before I shut everything down. The reason I want to bring this up is he had actually, he calls these slingshot trades. We call them false breaks, right? But it's like a slingshot. You get this breakdown like that, and then a reversal, right? So he calls them slingshot trades. I call them false breakdowns, false breakouts. But this false breakdown, in my opinion, we break above 70 cents. We should squeeze to 70 and a quarter or 70.45, I think. So this, to me, this move right here is very much, this right here is like where the easy money is. If we could squeeze above 70 cents, we should squeeze to 7.45 right after that, right? Gavin said it was an excellent interview with Brent. Okay. Great. Catherine said, loved it and really liked the idea of having another where you ask him about current market conditions and what he thinks are good trades to be in now. Yeah. I mean, that's the first interview was more of like, how, let's talk about who he is and, what he knows. Then it'll be like, yeah, let's talk about like what's moving. You bet, Catherine. Okay, so anyway, I'm gonna write down, and thanks guys for the feedback. But I wanted to see if there's anything that I might have missed, but that's all right. I appreciate positive feedback is good too. 70 cents, key resistance. If we break through that, we're going to 70.45. And remember, I'm keeping this in range as well. 69.20 is support, which is this blue line. Okay. Dollar Canadian. Oh, we already talked about it. Swissy. Oh, man, triangle. I hate triangles. I don't. Not really, but I mean, it's just. There's your breakout points. 92.30 and 91.50. Let's just call it that way. Yeah, 91.50, 92.40. No, 92.30. That's 30. I don't know why I typed 40. And we're going to keep that in the range. US dollar, Norwegian krona. By the way, I don't know what happened yesterday morning. Last night in Asia, it was soon as the FX market opened, this thing spiked up to 891 on my platform, and I dumped it. I hit the bid, And then like literally 5-10 minutes later, it was trading back down at 886. I was like, oh, and then I just added it back. So yeah, I don't know what happened there. Like, sorry guys, I got the Monday yawns. I'm not sure why. It must have been some leftover order flow or something. I don't know, but anyway. So key support is going to be right here now. That spike low is going to coincide with this channel support. So that's going to be, let's just call it 877. Resistance 895, then 910. 895. 910. Still bullish while we're above that channel support. And you guys know, I mean, this is it's a bullish breakout. We're just consolidating these gains. Dollar Mex still contained here. 20. I'm actually going to write down 2030. Support is at 19. Let's call it 1988. It's in range. Keep an eye on the rand. I just, if you got, I mean, I know, South Africa's had a lot of domestic shenanigans going on, but I still think this is a nice solid channel. I was trying to buy dips on it on Friday. I still would like to buy a dip here if we get it. Dollar yen 110.70 support is going to, you guys know I'm still looking for this to see if that'll hold. So this will be 109.60, 110.70. We are in a range. Dollar index still bullish, but you got to mind this channel, right? So now support is that spike low right there, which comes in at 92.50. Resistance is 93.20. While we're above that channel support, it is still bullish. S&P 44.40. Support right now, support is, hold on. This is, I'm going to zoom it. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. Let's go over to 1 hour. Just so I'm going to write down I think right here, again, this is an hourly chart. So you see all these like spike lows that are holding. This horizontal support was holding. So, we could get cable spiking up a little bit. We could get a little bit of a pullback here. I just wouldn't get too carried away with, it pulling back unless we break through this. It's a very minor support, but I'm going to write it down. 43.80. obviously very bullish still. Gold. Here's silver. We'll start with silver. 28. Same as it ever was. Sing it, Stelios.
Where did the days go by? That one.
2780 or 2480 and then 2550. Same as it ever was. 2480. I have this one friend, he just loves the 80s. Like, whoops. Loves the 80s.
We used to have quizzes on the floor, and my area of specialty of whatever you call it was obscure 1980s hits. So I know a little bit about
that. That's awesome. My buddy's 50th birthday party, we last year, it was outside. It was COVID, but he got this big blow up like screen, so you could use this outdoor projector. So it was a big blow up, like basically projector screen. It was huge.
Nice.
I mean, it was like enormous, right? And he bought MTV Best of the 80s DVDs, and it was playing them. It was great to see some of these old, it's because still, as we're the same age, so it just roughly like within a year. Anyway,
yep,
grew up around the same music, so it's like all that stuff just it jars so many memories. If I hear Hungry Like the Wolf when I'm sleeping anymore, I'm gonna knock somebody out, though. That's the one. Just kidding. 1835 with gold. 1755. Nothing's changed, guys. So these are just still the same. Now, Bitcoin. This is this rally last night. I don't know what
caused it, right?
I don't know. Do you know?
Yeah, there's a rumor. It's not official yet that Amazon is going to start taking Bitcoin payments by the end of the year. It's a rumor.
Oh,
and people like it.
That's okay. I mean, I think FX Macro posted that Amazon job posting that's looking for crypto somebody, but that's interesting. I mean, I'm still in the camp of I don't understand how that's really going to work because of the volatility. There's no central. The point is, there's no central bank, but there's no central bank pulling the levers behind the screen. So if I was a seller, like let's say I'm selling all this junk, whatever it is, I'm a seller and I'm selling Chinese junk. And by the way, stocks are spiking here at the open, and the dollar's just rolling over.
Really? No.
But if I was selling junk, right, whatever that junk is, and then all of a sudden, like I'm selling it in Bitcoin, and then Bitcoin, loses 20% of its value. I mean, that's or 40% of its value. I mean, that's, obviously my business is done. Like,
well, I'm sure these guys are going to have some guy, a person or a desk or something who just hedge it out straight away. They have to. They're not going to be taking.
I mean, you're just talking about like just in general, like how I still don't understand how payment systems are going to work and operate when there's no central bank to one of the, you think about, and we all laugh about it now, but you think about Trichet, right? Remember Trichet would say, "Is this stability?" He would say it in his French accent, right? I mean, but that's what central banks do, is they provide stability in the financial markets. And who does that with cryptos? Nobody.
I think the problem with crypto prices going higher is going to be their own success. So if they do start getting accepted everywhere and used as payment, then they're going to get regulated, and then they're going to get taxed. And then there's going to be all these nice advantages of it are going to go away, because there's not going to be any more anonymity. Everybody who owns or buys anything, you're going to have to declare it and blah, blah, blah. So I think its own success is it might be a problem. I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, it makes a lot of sense. All right. Well, Stelios, I actually, hold on really quick. Sorry.
Let me take a snapshot of the
Yeah.
thingy.
I was just going to say Bitcoin, I'm going to put it in range since we are really just holding this 42,000 to 30,000 range. But support intraday is going to be 36,500. That was the resistance on the way up, and resistance is 42.5. I still overall have a more bearish bias while we're below the 200-day moving average, which comes in at basically 45,000. So while we're below this, I still think we should be bearish. I just think that right now we are in a range. So I'm designating it as a range. But I still think you should approach it with more of a bearish bias. All right, so there is the bias chart.
I got it.
Stelios is taking a screenshot of it, and Steve isn't here today because he is on vacation, as he should be. He needs to take some time off. Stelios, I'm gonna give. Oh, look, the euro is gonna try to break out here, guys. I think. But anyway, I'm gonna still. Do you want to take it over? Do you have anything you want to add?
I'll take the screen. I'll talk for 5-10 minutes, and then I can close it out if you want.
Yeah, sounds good. I'm gonna let you take over, and then so I got to take a little bit of a break. So
yeah, sure. Hold on.
All right, guys, enjoy your time with Stelios, and Stel, thanks for taking over. And
I can't hear you. Okay.
And if I miss you there, I'll see you at the daily roundup. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Accidentally hit mute.
Thank you. All right. So we have the Fed, the FOMC this week. Obviously, the main event. We're not expecting them to really do anything this meeting because we're going to wait for Jackson Hole, but we might get some kind of more information or something from Jerome Powell. You know, you asked 100 people what do you think is going to happen. You're going to get different answers. Some people are going to say they think he might be a bit more hawkish, others a bit more dovish. I've as I said on Face, I think that central banks, they would rather wait a little bit longer and see how things pan out. You know, if this inflationary push continues or if it's transitory. So I think he's probably not going to give us anything new until Jackson Hole. Although, like I said on Face, the Fed really should have been moving already, given inflation and given the way the recovery is happening post-COVID. But you know, they've been pretty quiet and they're taking it slow. They told us that they started to think about tapering. Let's see if we get something more from them. The dollar is, I still think, I stand by this view. I think the dollar is going to be testing the lows again. Is it going to be in a month, 2 months, 6 months, a year? I don't know, but I think he's going to be testing them soon. Are we going to get a spike higher first? We could do. You know, this Jackson Hole could give us the reason for dollar to rally, but I think it's going to be a selling opportunity. So I think any kind of spike, I'm going to be selling. Equities, well, what can we say about equities? I mean, it's just a straight line. And, there's not much more to say. Look at that, it's 45 degrees. Any dip gets bought and probably will continue until we see any decent move in yields. And I know I've been saying this day in, day out, but I believe it. And, price action is probably telling me that I'm correct in this. So until we see decent rise in yields, I don't see equities selling off considerably. Obviously, we could have a nice little, there's a level here. These lows, 42.40, 42.50, 42.40, somewhere there. I mean, we could easily go and retest those, but in the grand scheme of things, this is just a blip. But obviously, for day traders or people who are scalping, this is, you can have some really nice moves. I'm not a scalper, you guys know that. Yields remain very low. If you look at a longer term chart, they're very low. They're still within this kind of zone of it used to be support. Now it was, we broke out, we come back in. We really need to break this convincingly. We have to go above 170, 175 for me to start getting bullish yields and bearish stocks. Until that happens, unfortunately, we're going sideways, and that's what I think about that. Now, associated with all that, gold and silver. Gold is going sideways, even though real yields have gone very negative over the last few weeks or months. Gold, we hit all-time highs, new all-time highs, 2070 something, and we came back, and now we're just going sideways, even with real yields really negative. That's worrying for metals bulls. I'm a metal bull, and that worries me a little bit, but I just think that metals are going to just play catch up at some point and explode higher. Silver, very similar story. We're in this kind of, I had drawn this other line, something like that, or whatever it was. We're still within that. Let me put the same color, whatever it was, I can't remember. Okay. We could break. If we do break, I think we'll see somewhere in the 22s, 23s. That's and that's an area I'm really, really waiting for. If we ever get there, I'm going to definitely be adding more. But silver, I think, is going to resolve to the upside at some point and just go a lot higher. I know this is a very medium-term view. Many of you might not be looking that far out, but that's a big picture for me. And you know how I operate. I have a view, and then I try to look at technicals to get in and out as best as I can. People do know that I tend to be a little bit early. I'm not the best technician, but I have a view, and I just try to execute as best as I can. The pound, we've talked about the pound a few times. Big resistance we rejected quite comprehensively. Now the pound is interesting because we have the next MPC meeting is the August meeting, and for people who don't remember, this is the inflation report meeting, and this is one of the 4 quarterly inflation reports. And the Bank of England always tends to kind of initiate or do major decisions or events on these inflation report months. I remember when I was trading sterling in London, those 4 meetings were the most important ones. We were always trading dates around those meeting dates because that's where things really got moving. So what do we expect from the MPC? We had Vlieg, I don't know how to pronounce his name, who is leaving in August. He had been a dove for a long time, basically from the beginning. And he started talking about, maybe raising rates wouldn't be a bad idea if things continue. So he started becoming a hawk, as they all do, right, when they're about to leave. But we have League who's leaving, but he's changing his tune. Excuse me. We have Saunders, who also started talking about tapering. So there is a kind of a slight hawkish shift within the Bank of England. We have to remember that they are, as central banks go, they are kind of a slow-moving dinosaur. So they're not going to be switching really quickly, but we're going to get a good idea in August. And there's still a lot of pent-up demand from the whole lockdown and COVID thing. So I have lots of friends in London and in the UK in general, and they're telling me that things are starting to move. Yes, we have more. They have more cases of COVID. But if you look at the stats, there's more cases, but the death rate is growing very slowly. So it seems like vaccines are working, but it depends on the government and how they're going to allow the economy to open up. I am still on the bullish side for the pound. I'd rather play it versus a euro, and this is what I still think is going to happen. But when we do get to around 83 handle, I think, in the euro pound, I'm going to start looking for longs for the first time in ages for me. But again, currencies, they're very tricky. They've been very tricky over the past months. And it's difficult. We're not seeing follow through in many moves. I mean, this pound move since last year. Remember when we got the Brexit agreement, and I was saying, look, I think first 6 months of 2021, we're going to see the pound outperform. It doesn't matter what kind of deal it is, good deal, bad deal, I don't care. It's going to outperform. Well, it's been doing very well against the euro, but overall currencies are difficult. They haven't really been trending much. So the way to trade them, I think, is if as soon as you are positive on something, I would tend to take profits, or some profits at least, because these things swing around quite dramatically. Norway is another one I'm looking at. Again, I want to get short Euro Norway. I want to get short Dollar Norway. I've been looking at this zone here. We're there now, 10.5-ish. Initially, I was thinking about selling 10.5, but now I'm not so sure, especially if we do get a risk-off move. I think we're going to test 11 again. So I'm going to wait for that, but I'm keeping an eye on that. And Dollar Norway, the same. We're in the zone again. We could easily just reject it and keep going lower, but this will require risk assets to keep going higher. And I'm not convinced about that yet. I think we'll grind over the summer, over August for sure. But the risk gradually becomes more and more for a move lower in equities. And why do I say that? Because the longer inflation stays high, and pretty much every inflation metric we're seeing has been high, the more central banks cannot just keep saying it's transitory. How long is transitory? Is it 3 months, a year? A decade? So the more this happens, the more I think they're going to be kind of forced to start tightening. And when they do, and the market realizes that the punch bowl is going to get taken away or reduced, then I think equities are going to have a nice move lower. I personally think that the move lower in equities is not going to be huge. So we could, in the S&P, if we get anywhere near, this is like a 30% drop, isn't it? Anywhere near, I don't think we're going to get to this level like 3,300, but anywhere near, 3,500, 3,600, I think that's going to be where central banks are going to just back up the truck again and provide everything the market needs, and we just head off to infinity and beyond again. Cryptos we talked about. Bitcoin seems to be driving because it was at very important support. This is kind of almost a false breakdown. We did have these lows down here, which were 28 something. We didn't break those, but we're very close. And this Amazon news, and also we had this conference, didn't we, last weekend, where all the crypto pumpers, they were talking and doing all sorts of stuff. So Bitcoin found a nice opportunity to rally. We're going to get, I think Blake was looking at this moving average. When that, I think this 42,000 is very important. We could get there the way Bitcoin trades. We could get there tomorrow, but very important. As long as we're below here, I think it's kind of ranging, like Blake said. But if we break above, I think then we go bullish again, technically speaking. And Ethereum is the same, kind of following the bounce, coming up to these highs, these previous highs. So we're getting close to some important technical levels in cryptos as well. And people who trade these, you get in one day you get moves that you don't get in 2 years in FX. But it can go either way. Anyway, that's pretty much all I have. So let's wait and see what happens with the FOMC this week. Until then, we're probably going to grind, look at equities. They're just unchanged and not really knowing what to do. And hopefully Mr. Powell and his gang give us something, give us some volatility to play with. Okay, so thank you, everybody. And we will see you. I think Blake will see you on the daily roundup in a couple of hours or so. Thanks, guys. Thank you, everybody.